Shows in how to execute various poses to reveal the highest definition possible.
Good. Really hard in the torso, hamstring separation, good. Good. Back double bicep. Excellent. Good.
At the end of each workout, Jay concludes his routine with a 15-minute posing session to monitor his progress. Posing is the most artistic aspect of the multifaceted sport of bodybuilding. As he prepares for Mr. Olympia, he analyzes the development of every muscle and assesses the symmetry of his body for each stance.
A lot of people train for repetitions, which isn't really necessarily the best way to build muscle. You want to keep your repetitions low, around the 10 mark, and of course push as much heavy weights as possible. Heavy weights build muscle.
This exercise only becomes perfect with practice, and after diligent repetition, Jay has learned the finesse of showcasing the beauty of each body part. After a complete gym session, Jay experiences muscle fatigue, exhaustion, and even nausea. He is eager to replenish his body with a recovery meal. The time that passes between workouts and eating are often quiet, as it can be difficult to even talk until he is physically and mentally in a state of equilibrium.
So obviously the meal prior to training, the meal after post-training, meal is the most crucial meals of your day. Of course, having a solid breakfast, those are your 3 meals a day that are most important. You have to get the right amount of nutrients and keep your body in a positive nitrogen balance to be able to perform all the heavy lifts and, of course, get that growth. We always finish up every day with our post-training meal at Bonsai Bob. Makes food custom for us. So every day we eat the Mr. Double O Bowl, which we do a little variation. Today I'm doing 12 ounces of chicken breast, 1 cup of rice with some onions, and Ryan's having just garlic and chicken and rice. So every day we usually roll here after training and eat this meal after we work out, and then we head home. And of course, by the time he gets home, he eats another meal. I'll get home and take a shower and kick back a little bit and eat another meal. So probably the most important meal of the day, getting the post-training meal, especially after a hard workout like today. And even during pre-contest phase, I always eat little Bonsai Bobs. You know, they make the chicken clean and rice and roll with it like that. So this is meal 5 for me. Meal 5.
With the competition now 2 weeks away, Jay's weekend schedule becomes just as intense as his workout regime. Today, Carrie helps him prepare to leave for a promotional photo shoot in California, while he relaxes.
I try to stay pretty even and positive and just try to make things as easy for him as I can. I think that's why taking off this week has helped out a lot. This whole week's been kind of nice. He hasn't had to do anything, so it's been really busy for me to try to keep things even, smooth.
Carrie's been the biggest supporter, inspiration, role model, everything that you can imagine, someone you look up to, and someone that gives you that support is definitely Carrie's role. She's I told Carrie on our first date at 16 that I wanted to be a professional bodybuilder, and at the time she really didn't understand what it all was, and she said that's great, and I could see she wasn't really surprised when I said that to her, and I don't know if she had planned to be there till the end or what the deal was. It was only the first date, but you know, when I first started joining the gym at 18 and she came along with me, she started to get involved and started to support. She wanted to spend time with me. She went to the gym. I spent most of my time in the gym.
I work out as much as I possibly can. So I work out probably 4 or 5 days a week. I also do kettlebells and a Pilates class. I have a personal instructor here in town. I do that with Thursdays. And I try to be in and out in an hour. It's tough to juggle work, come home, do things I need to do here, and then get to the gym. So I try to get everything in and out in an hour.
She worked to support me. She worked to make extra money. She worked 2 jobs at one time to make extra money to help me do what I do. She helped me cook my food. She helped me train a lot of years for all the certain competitions. She's been there for every single show, doing, you know, all the last minute preparations with the tan and the shaving, and you know, helped me pick out music and tell me what I need to do as far as how I need to look. I mean, she's become the expert. Carrie's the real eye of what I do. She knows when I'm right and when I'm wrong. And without her support, I really couldn't do what I do. I would not have become a champion bodybuilder without Carrie being there by my side. And, you know, besides helping me with all this goes a long way, the relationship is there, the friendship. You know, Carrie's my best friend.
Are you gonna miss me when I'm gone?
She's not only, you know, my wife, but she's also the closest person I'm with and understands me more than anyone does.
Jay's mother-in-law, in town to celebrate her birthday, sits outside to avoid being a distraction.
I'm glad that the two of them are a pair. They're almost one when it comes to this competition type of thing. You know, she knows what he needs. She's there, and whatever. And Jay is reciprocating when he's off. You know, they're very caring couple.
Did you read that book about the one that Jennifer Aniston's coming out in the movie in? You read it. It made you cry.
I cried.
That movie about the dog. The guy.
Oh, Marley and Me.
Marley and Me.
Oh,
Did you read that?
I thought Marley's name was like Maury.
No.
She has to deal with a lot of things, the emotional things, and you know, the good times, the bad times, and the things that you deal with friendships. A lot of different things, and she's always been there and always has been every day when I spend time with her and I see her every day, and the weekends and time that I'm away from her is always the hardest time for me.
After a long drive with Scrappy, Jay arrives early in Orange County, California, for a magazine's photo shoot. When the shoot is finished, he and Scrappy head off to Venice, Muscle Beach, California, where he will join his team at the original Gold's Gym. Since opening in 1965, the facility has housed the most legendary athletes, from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Muhammad Ali, and even Michael Jordan. He meets with 2 of his closest associates, Eric DeLauro and Dave Burlett.
But these guys on the wall, like you got Arnold, you got Dorian Yates, Lee Haney. I mean, these guys, they ruled at a certain time in their career, and I think everyone brought something different to the table.
Eric is a frequent training partner of Jay's, and Dave is a longtime friend who also manages most of his bookings and appearances.
These are the lucky belts, the lucky Mr. Olympia belt. Of course, Jay doesn't have one because he gave them all to his buddies. Now I have one. Eric, turn around. Eric's wearing one. So, whenever we train at Gold's Venice, we train with our Mr. Olympia belts. Lucky. You can push more with this. He's the kind of person that is such selfless. He's so generous with his time, with his money, with everything that he does. He's got a good heart, and he's always willing to help someone who needs help. You know, and it's really hard for him to actually say no, which sometimes we get into things. I mean, he won't even, you know, he hasn't raised his fee since he started as a pro because he's just being charged the same amount of money. And when he won the Olympics, I said, well, dude, you gotta up your fee. You can't just keep charging whatever you were charging before. It makes no sense. But that's the kind of person he is.
Growing up, my role models, I looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger definitely as a role model. He was definitely someone to aspire. Of course, he was a legend. Bob Paris was someone I read his book Beyond Built when I was a teenager, and that's kind of the book I used in my training to help achieve the physique that I wanted, and I learned how to work out and nutrition through him. And I looked at his physique, but not only his physique, but also his whole complexion. He was just a good-looking man that I realized there was a marketing side to bodybuilding. I was always the guy that people always said, oh, you have a good look for bodybuilding. And I never understood why. I had a certain physique, but, you know, my face seemed to be a selling point. You know, I was a good-looking white guy that, you know, kind of that all-American look that people look at as somewhat of a marketing strategy. And Joe Weider always told me in the beginning, that's when I first got contracted with him, I was kind of a cover boy for him. And I guess that's why I led to Bob Paris somewhat also, is, you know, he was a good-looking, marketable guy, but with a great body.
Huge. Come on. 9. Yeah, once in a while. That's it. Squeeze it. 4. 5. That's it. 6. Nice and tight. 7. That's it, Jay. 8. 9. Easy. 10.
Dave is also on a mission. He is preparing for a competition after being on hiatus for over 10 years. He has already lost 50 pounds in just 5 months. During this posing session, Jay's company aids him to find where he stands.
Like you, I'm sweating like crazy.
I know. Today.
lighting better?
Yeah, much better. You gotta put them on the site.
They discuss how much he's advanced in just 1 year. They also acknowledge that there is much more work to be done to guarantee a win.
It's good though.
After months of the most rigorous regime he has ever followed, one problem remains: body fluid.
I wanted to be 283 before I came down. That's my goal, even if it's water. That way it gives me reserves. I need the reserves so when I crank down, I don't lose fullness, you know. This is good for me though for 2 weeks, really. Usually I'm not as tight. Right, no 6 I wasn't that tight either, really, was I?
Learning different things that are going to put you on the best level possible to win the title that year. I mean, it's different every single year. If you would ask me, well, what are you doing this year different from last year? It all changes. A lot of it changes.
After being in that climate for so long, I've been there for whatever. So when I come out here,
I think being in an environment too where there's air conditioning, it's not good for you either.
it's
man.
just for
you
me.
can't sweat, man, in that air
To me,
conditioning.
to get out here and I'm weighing as much as I'm weighing, it's different. I'm never this heavy. Especially when I feel I didn't even eat that much today, you know.
His ability to shed and retain water shifts as he crosses state lines, an inconsistency that promises to be a significant obstacle.
But I think the massaging helped it. 267 this year. 268, that's my target. So I'll lose 15 pounds. That'll put me to shred it up, you know. Like right now, looking at myself, I'm holding a lot of water. More than likely, for sure I'll be 8 pounds lighter in the morning. 8 pounds by tomorrow morning. Shit, I probably just lost a pound or 2 just right now.
Right there, okay. I got you.
If I go get on the scale now, I guarantee I'm...
You happy with your back right now?
Yeah. Yeah, because the fibers are there, and I mean, it's blurred out because there's water, but my back wins the show, so I mean, that's what the key is, you know. Forget my legs are just beyond everyone else's, you know. No one's gonna have the strided legs like mine. I mean, you guys saw that the other day, you know.
Right, no, I saw that.
You saw how tight I was the other day. What did I weigh the other day? High 270s, I think.
Yeah. You eager to get it on?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anticipation starting to,
No. No, because I'm not ready yet, you know. When I'm ready, then I'll be, okay, let's go. I'm still pretty far from being, I mean, if I'm talking I'm going to lose 15 pounds, it's not like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Right.
You know, give me a few days and I could be ready, but I'm not close yet, you know, so.
Wednesday, September 24th, 2 days before the games begin. Jay unwinds with family and friends, discussing about the days of his budding career.
Jay sat on Sunday with his shirt off at the Mandalay, sunken in a chair, disappointed, and said, should I continue? Should I keep going? And I thought it was like a trick question because his abs were, I mean, you're crazy sitting, you know, abs were like sitting down, got that tan on, you know, day after the show. And, you know, keep in mind going into the show, people like who had seen him were like, oh my God, what happened to you? You know, people, right, Jay? People thought you were going to be contender to win that show.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people, Chris Lund, I mean, anyone who had seen him, Kevin LeBron said, God, you're going to chance to, I remember specifically Chris Lund saying, you're going to give Ronnie a run. That's like, wow, Ronnie's Mr. Olympia. So Jay said, should I keep going? I said,
And now, what made you say,
99.
you know what? How did you do the next year?
I went to 8, but
In between that, I won my first professional show, Night of Champions, 6 months after the Olympia.
Yeah, rather handily.
I ever beat almost everyone that was in the Olympia, except for the Colemans and those people now. So I moved up to 8th, and then I went on the European tour after the contest where I got 8th. And
2000, right, Jay?
yeah, Chris and I went to Europe, and I got 2nd to Coleman at 2 of the tours over there, and that's when I actually got to stand next to him. Because remember, on the Olympia stage, when you're 15th, you don't stand next to the guy that's first, you know.
Yeah. What did I make for prediction at that show, Jay?
And you said you can beat him easy.
2000 on the tour. So, you can beat this guy.
So I dedicated the whole year of 2001 to train specifically for the Mr. Olympia, and I gave my body the whole year to train.
Just because something worked for you before may have no relevance whatsoever on this year, and that's something that you have to, at the at this level, common sense would say the opposite. You look at your records, you'd look at your diets and anything, you'd say, okay, whatever I did in the past may have a big influence on, I can use that information now. But that's also a shortfall because your body's always different. I mean, think of it as think of it in any other sport too, I mean, you talk about basketball before or boxing before. You can't say, I fought this guy 4 years ago this way, so I'm going to use those same tactics, or those same fundamentals now. Everything could be different, totally different.
Hey. Hey, that's Daddy's shoe. Trace.
Where's Daddy's shoe?
Give me Daddy's shoe. Give me Daddy's shoe. Give it to Daddy. Give it to Daddy. Give it to Daddy. Give it to Daddy.
What's your shoe game look like?
What's that?
Every time I see you, I notice you have a different pair of clothes.
Hey. Don't chew it up. Don't chew it up.
Every time I see you, I notice that you got a different pair of clothes. What's your shoe?
I have a lot of sneakers, yeah.
Did you have a whole closet that's pretty much...
I have 2 closets full of sneakers. No, not Jordans, no. I don't buy that much sneakers anymore. I used to. I don't spend money anymore. Budgeting. My dad gave me a lot of early, what I never realized at the time, my dad pushed me to the limits early in life. He used to get me out of bed earlier in the morning to work, and after school weekends, that's all I did was work. I became a workhorse. So when I started bodybuilding, that workhorse mentality led over to bodybuilding, and I realized as we started to get further and further into what we do, that attitude gave me the edge. That's what's given me the edge. I have more heart than a lot of the other guys because I was raised to be a workhorse, and that's what it takes to be the best in the sport of bodybuilding.
Work comes first. Even today, my older sons, I'm disappointed if they take something before work. Work to me has always been first.
Beginning, he helped me buy my food just like my mom. They both supported it. Of course, they're going to support their son.
You just like to take pictures, that's all.
No, they're looking at the genetic wonder that you created. I just hope I look as good as you when I'm 80, 79.
You probably look better.
You want a snack or something?
You got something?
Look at everything, you know that.
To be the best in the world at what he does, of course, I'm somewhat surprised. Not that I didn't think he could do it, but to do it is a feat that I probably could never have imagined in anybody, never mind my own son.
Jay, who values timeliness just as much as he values his craft, arrives early with his 3rd chicken and rice meal since breakfast. He doesn't believe in rushing and is cool, calm, and collected, ready for the weekend's first event, the press conference.
God.
He's on his show.
The press conference.
On his show.
Ready to start at 1 o'clock. They're lining us all up, getting us ready. So it's the time when people ask questions, you know, maybe like last year's show, or you know how everyone's looking and all this other stuff. So this is our time that we can be vocal. Of course, I won't be too vocal though.
You getting excited?
I'm still in cruise control. I'm still in cruise control, so I'm just chilling.
Magazine and by Pro Bodybuilding Weekly, the voice of professional bodybuilding.
10 seconds there.
Stand by, Dan and Bob. Cue the countdown. T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hosts, Dan Solomon and Bob Ciccarillo.
The MCs waste no time in spotlighting Jay and the challenge he faces to maintain his prized Mr. Olympia title for the 3rd year in a row.
Jay Cutler. Now, Jay is actually looking for his 3rd Sandow trophy, and if he's able to accomplish that, he will eclipse the total number of trophies won for Colombo, and he will match the total number of Olympia wins by the great Cutler is looking to join some very elite company.
An elite company it will be, but he has a fight in his hands. As you've already mentioned, Dexter Jackson in the house. He's knocking on the door with that Arnold victory. We've also got some new contenders. Phil Heath obviously in the mix, making his rookie debut finally. But we've also got the big bad wolf in the house. They caught right onto that whole thing.
19 of the world's best athletes, bodybuilders, and representing 7 different countries. So without further delay, Bob, if you are ready, I say we bring him out.
Phil the Gift Heath, one of Jay's mentees, is there at his first Mr. Olympia ever. Dennis the Big Bad Wolf, a fan favorite, is eager for a comparison with Jay. Dexter the Blade Jackson is at the peak of his career, confident after first place victory in the Arnold Classic.
Jay Cutler.
Oh man, so what's up with that? You were running away from Dennis Wolf?
Was he in the show last year?
Last year I didn't get a comparison with Jay. So this year I'm looking for this, and we'll see what happens.
People just want to see who has a better haircut, that's all. I got a better haircut than you.
Dennis.
No, one thing is better, Jay is better, is English, that's it.
No, it's you know, we didn't get the comparison last year. Of course, you know, it wasn't my call, and I'm looking forward to being able to fill everyone's sights this year when we stand next to each other and see what goes on. You know.
Jay, last year you won a 2-point decision over Victor Martinez, and I know you spent a lot of time hearing a lot of the criticism, a lot of the question whether or not you in fact should have walked away with that Sandow trophy. So Jay, I'm going to ask you, what's it been like over the past year? A lot of folks haven't heard from you since you walked off stage, and we'd love to know, what has it been like as a defending Olympia champion, hearing all of the opinions?
Well, opinions are something I had to deal with. You know, I was told in the beginning I'd never be a great bodybuilder, and you know, I was, you know, bridesmaid to Coleman so many times, and of course, you know, him not being in the show and me defeating him in 2006 was a big step for me. And of course, last year, missing the mark and coming in with dominance was something that I did, and definitely this year, I've taken it more serious. I used a lot of motivation from my friends and family, but also from the fans that still support. And the criticism is going to come no matter what. When you're the champion, you're expected to raise the bar every single time, and we as athletes, it's almost impossible to get better and better and better and beat your all-time best every single time. I mean, all of us have had our ups and downs. Of course, for me last year, I stumbled quite a bit, so I was able to retain the title, and this year I think I'm back to form. I've done everything I needed to do. I think I can show that here this weekend.
Well, I'm going to switch gears back over to Dexter. And of course Dexter, and it's amazing how diplomatic everyone is when everybody's in each other's company. But Dexter joined us on Pro Bodybuilding Weekly about 10 days ago. It was part 3 of our Olympia preview. And Dexter was kind enough to come on the show and share his thoughts about your ability to make the necessary adjustments to come back and defend and win the title for the 3rd time. And since I don't expect you to repeat those comments now, I'm going to go ahead and ask the folks behind the glass if they can go ahead and roll the clip of Dexter Jackson's quote when he was asked about Jay Cutler's ability to make the necessary adjustments this year. Roll the tape.
Bob, it's all about making adjustments. I say the same thing about Jay. Jay don't know how to make the proper adjustments to get back to the condition he was in when he should be running, or when everybody thought he should be running. Jay will look just like he did last year. He's not going to look no better. He's going to look the same as he's been looking, because he don't know how to make the proper adjustments. Now I feel the same way about Melvin. Because I know he's not going to know how to make the proper adjustments either.
That's why we love talk radio, Bob.
You gotta love archive talk radio.
Well, so Dexter, I'm going to ask you again. Do you think Jay's going to be able to make the necessary adjustments to defend the title? What do you think, Dex?
Man, why you put me on blast like that? God.
It's what we do.
First of all, being at the way Jay looked last year, and me winning the Arnold, and me putting together a package that I've never presented before, I feel that if I'm ever going to win Olympia, it will be this year. If Jay comes in looking the way he has, as of late. So, and I feel he doesn't know how to make the proper adjustments. If he doesn't make it this year, then I feel like I beat him. And that was my comment. I said, if I don't win this year, then I never will. That has nothing to do with me saying I'm never doing Olympia. I will be doing Olympia, even win or lose. Thank you.
He's obviously considered conditioning this year, and let me just take that one step further. We've heard a lot of comparisons to 01. People think that was the best conditioning. Some pictures have kind of filtered out there. People saying Jay is the best he's been since 01. Are you the best since 01 or even better?
I guess I'll figure that out.
Come on, Jay. Quit screwing around.
I look okay. I look okay. We all talk smack, and we all have to get our edge somehow, and it's like you said, it's a radio show and people listen to that, and some people respect his opinion, some don't. So it's just like I'll say that come Saturday I'll win the show. So I'm sure Dennis now will tell you that he'll win the show, and Phil will tell you he's going to win. So I mean, it goes back and forth, but it's all good. I mean, it's been a good year for me. I definitely gave a full 4 months of training, which last year I did not. And let's see what happens on Saturday night.
The excitement in the air is contagious. A long night of FaceTime with fans awaits the contestants after the press conference. To Jay, the support inspires him to strive for excellence, both personally and professionally. He takes time to the fan he comes across, and each encounter strengthens his drive.
Szia Jay, Toldi Zsuzsa vagyok Magyarországon. Tudom, hogy október 25-én. Szeretnék minden jót kívánni neked a versenyre. Én tudom, hogy a legnagyobb fog nyerni. Te tudod, hogy ki az. Minden sok sikert kívánok, és győzelmet. Amúgy Magyarországon én vagyok a Timja Magyarova Fitness Model Worldnek az győztese. Majd találkozunk október 25-én.
Oh, here's the mural. Check this out. I gotta take a picture of that. Look how huge it is.
A mural of the new Mr. Olympia is posted every year to honor the champion. Jay catches his own image in passing. receives a tanning by tomorrow night. His skin will be dark enough to enhance the definition of his muscles when under the bright lights of the stage.
We're here with Jay Cutler. We just finished putting color on, and as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. Notice the tone. It's nice and smooth. Now it's going to continue to get darker for the next 4 hours. So what you see now is not actually all that there is. So it's got a self-tanner in it, and toward the end, I think Mr. Cutler is going to be very satisfied with what he's going to have, and there you have it. That's a piece of work there.
Jay is right now is the Meet the Olympians, so the VIP people are allowed in to the big money tickets, are allowed in to get autographs, see the Olympians, and then we're here for an awful long time. Signs autographs. Usually the line is very long. Jay doesn't usually leave till the very last person leaves, and that's a long time.
Some have driven from afar. Others have flown across oceans.
Standing in line for Jay for about 20 minutes. It's probably going to take us another half hour to get up there. We're standing in line because he's number one. He's the best.
Oh, I'm so thrilled to be here with him. I haven't seen him for a long time. I'm really happy I could be here. I love to see him with his fans. He loves his fans.
I've been watching Jay since 2006. As soon as I saw him, I pretty much just told myself I want to be like that. So started training at probably the best gym in the United States, American Family Fitness in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. And I got an invitation down here to meet Jay Cutler, and in a heartbeat I took it.
Hey, my name is Jeff Surratt, here cheering on hometown boy Jay Cutler. Known him for a number of years now. Started competing at the New Englands back in 2002. Started guest posing, and I just kept in touch over the years. Great guy, true champion. All the best.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
I'm actually 2 times World Masters champion discus thrower, 2006 and 2007. And I've come through back from injuries, and people like Jay Cutler really inspired me. So this is why I come all the way from London to Vegas.
Hola, venimos desde España a conocer Las Vegas y ver Mr. Olympia. Nos ha encantado la ciudad y lo que hemos visto aquí de momento también. Y tenemos una tienda de nutrición deportiva, Sportlander, Mallorca, España.
Hey Jay, my name is Joe Graham. I just want to wish you good luck for tomorrow's event, and hope you take #1, man. I'm rooting for you. You're a big inspiration to me. I read all your articles all the time, and Muscle Fitness, and I get a lot of workouts from you, and it's been helping me in my career in bodybuilding, and been doing it for a long time, and I just owe it all to you, man. Just want to wish you props, all right? Thank you.
Yeah, good luck, Jay. You're definitely one of my heroes and a real inspiration to me too. And I wish you good luck this year. And I was there to meet Coleman, and I'm glad to be able to finally meet you.
Contestants have packed up. Many are sleeping in preparation for the big day. All come for one common goal: to share a moment with the sport's greatest ambassador. Jay and his camp are wide awake and will remain until the last fan has been seen, the last picture taken.
You cut the line. Well, this is the end of the night, 10:30. And tomorrow's game day, so we get home, finish eating another quarter can tomorrow. Get the rest of the water out. That's it. Off to bed. 1 o'clock. I'm going to actually eat through the night now and eat until tomorrow.
feeling right now?
We're good. We're ready.
You're about an hour away from performing?
9 o'clock, I think.
9 o'clock? So yeah, you got countdown begins. 55 minutes. What was your day like today?
Relaxed quite a bit, did some tanning, and pretty much just posed and made sure I dialed in all right.
Do you feel like what percentage do you feel like you're better than last year?
200.
So you're 200% better than?
Yeah.
Couldn't be prouder of the guy. You know, we've had a really good year. And I've seen his dedication since he started training for the O. And, you know, I know he's stuck to his diet, he's stuck to his routine. And he's been in good spirits. I've not seen the guy in a bad mood since he started training for this show. And he's been all smiles right up to right now, even when he should be as grumpy as anybody could be. He's in a really good mood. And this can only be a good thing. Confidence, right?
Ironically, Jay maintains a temporary state of weakness. Strong. He is intentionally dehydrated, hungry, and emotionless. Keeping his temperature low by laying on the ground, Jay rests his body, saving all energy for today's prejudging event.
I did everything as planned, on cue, and to the best of my ability. That's, you know, what a champion does. And we found that our way is to be our best and train the way you know, that seems to be the best way to win. And I think you know, I did enough. I think I did enough to win. But you know, with me, it's about getting the job done and doing it, you know, at 100%, and packing up and heading back.
You know, that's why Jay's is where he is. You know, that's why Jay makes the money that he makes, so to speak. Jay doesn't make the money that he makes and get the things that he has because he's just Mr. Olympia and is a great bodybuilder. You know, he does it because he is a role model and because he's dependable and reliable, and you know, he's one of the guys that really gets it, you know, and treats this like a business, and is professional every time you deal with him. So, you know, aside from being a good guy and aside from taking the time to spend the time with his fans and then, you know, have words with everybody, you know, he's a pro in every way, shape, or form. So,
as a champion, it's like you do sometimes get above what you think, and last year humbled me big, you know, because anything can happen. It don't matter how you look 2 days before the show or 2 days after. It's all comes down to like right now. And I didn't hit it 100%, and I went from being, you know, America's favorite to, you know, a few people felt I got a gift, you know. So this year I trained with more fire than I ever have in my total career, which I should do every year. But it takes moments like that just to make you recognize.
Take something like that and open your eyes.
And you know, you try to do everything as a champion, try to represent all the time, but like I said, this is a major representation of what you do. This is why I am who I am, you know, is this contest. This is the elite, this is the best.
Bad life. Oh, shit.
You didn't have any of that.
Guys, in about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
By chance, he runs into Victor Martinez and Ronnie Coleman.
What's that?
That's the guy that was second last year. That's a controversial second. He says he should have won. That's Victor Martinez.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Oh, here comes the enemy. Ronnie Coleman. This is the Ronnie Coleman right here. You ready?
Big J! I'm finna suit up. It's a surprise. Ready to do it again? Oh yeah.
So this is the guy that I fought for
a couple years.
8 years.
Now he all by himself.
Yeah.
Running the show.
Me, Ronnie Coleman. The one and only. I'm the one that's been there time and time and time again. I fought all those years against Ronnie Coleman, the best bodybuilder ever.
Jay arrives backstage for day 2's prejudging event. All are afforded a glimpse of each other's progress. They socialize while they can, for in less than an hour, they will be one another's competition. With his team by his side, he is at an all-time high. There are new faces. And others that are much too familiar. The contestants are warming up and receiving. Photographers, press, and the family and friends of each contender are here to catch the last moments before game time. Reality sets in, and Jay watches Dexter's performance from behind the scenes, moments before he, too, is called. To him, this ground is sacred, and now is the first time he's set foot on it since last year's victory.
Number 19 from Las Vegas, Nevada, Jay Cutler.
Conference, I felt like everything was on track. When I left my house to go down to that prejudging on Friday night, I felt that everything was on track. I felt I was good enough to win. When I knew I wasn't good enough to win is when I started sweating on stage on Friday night, and I knew there was a problem.
And nerves. There's a lot of pressure on me going into the show trying to win my third title.
It is Saturday, and this is the moment all have been waiting for. He accepts a medal from the man who started it all, Joe Weider. Nerves high, pressure on. The escalating tension has finally reached its climax. And after this performance, the world will find out if Jay's destiny is triumph yet again.
And the title of 2008 Mr. You can take it too.
I knew Dexter won. I gave it to him. Dexter Jackson didn't win the Olympia in 2008. I gave the title to him.
The Blade Dexter Jackson has won the 2008 Mr. Olympia. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for our runner-up, two-time Mr. Olympia, Jay Cutler.
I gave it to him by not being my best. And that was the talk before the show. Everyone said if Jay Cutler's at his best, he will win the Mr. Olympia. But if I wasn't at my best, I would lose.
You know, I feel a little sad, you know, but I have to be happy for Dexter because I know what it's like to win, and he could win when we were standing there. And you know, you win some, you lose some. I mean, he showed up, you know, better than me last night, and you know, I felt like he made a strong comeback tonight. Obviously had too much ground to cover and fell short. So, you know, I'm happy that I was able to come back and at least show progression rather than stay the same or go backwards. And I just hit my mark, you know, right tonight and not last night. And Dexter was better. And it makes the Olympia a little more interesting. I mean, you know, we've had those years where it's the same guy winning all the time. It just sucks that I have to be the guy that gets defeated so quickly. But that's what makes me who I am. I've been there before with defeats and controversial defeats. And, you know, not that it was controversial. I mean, either way, I think I won tonight. He won last night. But obviously, I slid too far behind last night. So happy to see Phil up there, top 3, first show. It's awesome. All the guys look great. It was a great production this year, and still happy to be part of the contest. Part of history 2008. And then on to the next, you know.
Let me ask you this. I know, you know, how hard you worked to get here, and you know what you did over the last, not only the last 12 weeks, but 16, 20. I know you're happy for Dexter, but how disappointing is this for you?
It's pretty extremely disappointing because I really wanted to come back and prove that I could hit it, you know, 100%, and I didn't do that. You know, it makes me wonder a little bit, you know, if I got this thing down or not. I'm still learning different things, and my body felt decent, but obviously I just didn't land it right. It's the wrong day and wrong time, so I just kind of go back to the drawing board, when the time's right, which I'm not going to think about right now. And enjoy a little downtime, get back to somewhat normal life, get back to business that I put aside for the last 4 months, and regroup and decide what the next step is for Jay Cutler.
Now, I know you said you can't talk about it right now. Is there a chance that this will be the last time we see you on stage?
You never know when your last show is, but I hate to go out in defeat. I still said I wanted to get 3, so I'm only at 2.
Yep.
And I got a couple more mantles to fill, so.
Yep.
This gives me a little fire to come back, but like I said, I don't want to think about that tonight. Let Dexter enjoy his win, and these other guys, these new guys that came about, and were able to place, fulfill expectations, and it's Dexter's time tonight to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm against the odds. I'm coming back as a defeated champion, once again taking the stage to come back to win. Arnold, of course, came back in Pumping Iron in 1980. He was a retired champion, came back to win the title. Now I'm up against a different animal where I've lost a year prior, coming back as somewhat favored but unexpected to win, because we have a new champion. We have other people that are coming up in the sport. Definitely now coming back as a second place finisher once again, 5th time. I have the mindset, I work best being the runner-up. I'm always the dog trying to get to the top when I'm second place, because I want the title more than anything. And I think I'm back better than ever, and people will still say if Jay Cutler's at his best, he'll win again. The smart people. The haters are going to say all what they want to say, and that I can't come back and win, but I've lived with that my whole career. Everyone likes to shoot the champ down and say negative things. And it's easy to say negative things, but it's very hard to say positive things. And a lot of people won't give enough appreciation to say the positive things, so it's a lot easier for them to say negative things and give a lot of disrespect. And I'm disrespected, it's part of my whole thing. People want to be where I'm at. People want to be Jay Cutler. People want to be in the position I'm in. People want to be, the sport's greatest ambassador. That's what I feel I am. I feel I give everything I can to this sport. And that's what they'll see once again in 2009. what the biggest thing is for building muscle, how I get so big so fast, but definitely the nutrition early on definitely helped. I learned to eat, a 5 or 6 or 7 meal a day schedule where I ate every 2 hours and allow myself proper protein, of course carbohydrates, but in time, what adjustments to make, what certain foods to eat. And for me, I've always been a big chicken eater, at least 1 steak meal a day, egg whites, and of course a lot of Muscle Tech supplements on top of that. But for me, training on a 5 or 6 day a week schedule in the gym, definitely taking at least 2 days off seems to benefit me. So whether I train 3 days straight or 2 days straight and take a day off, sometimes 6 days a week straight and take a day off, which I'm training right now, that seems to be suitable as long as you're training each body part at least once or twice a week and doing a repetition range of 8 to 12 repetitions and keeping the weight heavy and strict. A lot of people train for repetitions, which isn't really necessarily the best way to build muscle. You want to keep your repetitions low, around the 10 mark, and of course push as much heavy weights as possible. Heavy weights build muscle. It's proven science, and of course what bodybuilders try to do and what the best result seems to be is we go in the gym, we pump the muscle up, we work for that certain pump that allows the muscles to get as full of blood as possible, and you get out of the gym and you feed the muscles. So obviously the meal prior to training, the meal after post-training, meal is the most crucial. Of course, having a solid breakfast, those are your 3 meals a day that are most important. You have to get the right amount of nutrients and keep your body positive nitrogen balance to be able to perform all the heavy lifts and of course get that growth. And probably massage about 3 days a week to help open up the tissue, allow a lot of stretching. I have people that stretch me, and that allows the muscle to become bigger, more defined, more conditioned, and of course more flowing, so your physique looks more open and more relaxed, so you can get the best cuts, detail, and conditioning on top of balance to win the competition. So there's a lot of factors that actually go into building the body, and many things that come into play when it comes to building a bigger physique. And fortunately for me, it came a little easier. It definitely had something to do with my genetics, and I was always a bigger kid than everyone else. And when I started training, I just grew like a weed. But I did have that proper nutrition in place, and I did train like pretty much an animal all the time. Pretty much my training year-round, I'm training for Mr. Olympia year-round. It's not just a time frame where it's like, okay, I don't need to think about this date. Pretty much my training is focused on a year-round type of conditioning. There's different phases I actually go through, and of course 4 months leading from the competitions when I start what I call the pre-contest phase, where I have to actually start tuning my body into being in the best shape possible. But at that time, the mental focus has to become a lot more. But there's not one day that I wake up, even now, that I don't wake up and look at myself in the mirror and say, am I ready to step it up to the next level? It takes a lot of mental preparation. I think really that's what separates a champion from just someone that's doing it for a task. I mean, a champion wants to succeed more and more and thinks about it 24 hours a day and does the extra things that it takes to be that champion. And, for me, focus definitely starts 16 weeks prior to competition, 4 months out. I start really gearing up and thinking, okay, I'm going to do this again here in a few months. And it takes a lot of commitment to sit in and eat those meals on a certain time schedule, do the training once, twice, 3, 4 times a day some days, not only incorporating heavy training, also cardiovascular conditioning, practicing the posing, learning different things that are going to put you on the best level possible to win the title that year. I mean, it's different every single year. If you would ask me, well, what are you doing this year different from last year? It all changes. A lot of it changes. I do many things other than just train for the competition that help me focus, help my mind, not just focus on just weight training and dieting. I've incorporated Pilates before, kettlebell training, these deep tissue massage with different type of massage therapists, tons of different therapy, active release. I mean, there's so many different ways that I just work into my schedule as much possible without affecting my training and my mental focus, but to give me an edge. That's really what I look for all the time. Bodybuilding has become very scientific, where it's not just about lifting weights and dieting for competition. You have to sit there and plan and methodically plan out a map of what's going to tune your body into the best without just weight training and dieting. You know, you have to get the muscles to react properly. You have to get the physique to balance out as much as possible and create that illusion that you didn't have the year prior. And you can't just do that with food and training on the same schedule. It all switches up. You train more days, you train less days. You know, you do more volume training, do less volume training, do higher reps, lower reps. The food varies week to week, day to day. There's just so many different things that mentally you have to be prepared to say, okay, I had a plan to do this, but we're going to change it, we're going to do that. And you have to realize that you listen to your body and not listen to your mind sometimes. And that really takes a lot of mental preparation to be able to handle those ups and downs. The most effective techniques is doing, of course, the stuff that allows the least amount of stress. Stress seems to be the biggest factor in training for competition. You can't have a lot on your plate and focus 100%. So you have to have everything spaced out perfectly. So sometimes, you know, weight training once a day, allowing your body to only do one cardio session a day, that seems to be the best alternative. That way you can throw in all that extra massage and the extra posing, and if you want to do the Pilates or the kettlebells, that kind of stuff. You just can't run ragged all day long. So basically, you have to give a lot of time for rest, recuperation, and time to eat your meals and not be in the gym beating yourself up more than you really need to. And your body gets into a zone. After about 4 weeks of training for competition, your body gets into a certain zone. It starts to read what's going on. And the body's a unique thing where, I mean, it adapts to certain situations, and you can overtrain it very easy. But I always found that you cannot overtrain the body if you are eating enough. If you're under eating, that's the only way you'll overtrain the body. So I eat pretty much around the clock, where my eating habits, you know, in the past have been, okay, I have 6 meals a day. I cut the meals at a certain time, and that's it. But nowadays, it pretty much goes around the clock, where I eat 24/7. I eat through the night. I give my body sufficient nutrients all the time. So my workload becomes a little more and I can handle it. And I think that's really been the best success solution for me, is just doing as much as possible pretty much around the clock, treating it like a 24/7 thing. I train certain times with iPod. Pretty much when I'm with partners, it works a little easier when there's no music involved. And honestly, in the gym, they play music, but I don't even hear what's going on most of the time. I'm so focused in the sets. I'm buried, my mind's buried in the weights. I'm not really paying too much attention to anything else. I might do cardiovascular training to music, because it's pretty repetitive.
Oh, what's some of the music that
I listen to rap. I listen to, you know, hard rock. I listen to pop. I mean, anything but country and classical I listen to, and love songs. I don't get into too many love songs. Any song from Linkin Park definitely gives me an edge. That's what I pose to, pretty much, hardcore rock type. I don't know what Linkin Park would be really called. Alternative, I don't know. My definition of success is reaching your own needs for what you want to do. We all set specific goals. I tried to set realistic goals in the beginning, and for me, success was definitely becoming someone of, you know, the popular nature, where I wanted to be known as an achiever. But I think pretty much for me, success nowadays is just being a role model for people. I mean, and having people look at your life and aspire to what you do. I think that's what I never realized in the beginning when I first started bodybuilding, is I just wanted to be self-motivated, and I wanted self-achievement. But what I didn't realize that came along with that was people actually looked upon me as a role model and someone that they actually looked upon and maybe aspired to follow the same kind of routine or same kind of program that got them into the situation I'm in, and that's what I think is success. I mean, when you reach that point that people look at you and see that you've achieved a certain thing and say, wow, that's where I want to be, then you've reached success or reached it big time. And I feel that I've achieved pretty much everything that I ever dreamed about being, and I'm still achieving. That's the most important thing, and I'm still giving people a reason to aspire for certain dreams. And like I said, I'm proof that any dreams can come true through hard work and determination and commitment and perseverance. Jay Cutler's dream and aspiration as of now is to be another world champion in bodybuilding. So I dream every day. I dream every day of standing on stage and being there with the gold medal and giving my victory speech. And I look through all the years of training, and a lot of flashes go through my mind every day because I've been on stage winning the ultimate title. I've been at the bottom. I've been in the middle. I've won every championship there is, and there's nothing like winning the best of the best achievement and being the champion at what you do and being the best in the world at what you do. It's what can you have to be at the pinnacle of your career and not only win once, twice, but 3 times. I mean, that's just, icing on the cake at that point. And right now, my aspirations, my dream is to be another world champion. I want to be Mr. Olympia. That's what I want to do. I want to train all year, give all I can, all the dedication, all the time, all the ups and downs that make it all worth it in the end when you sit there and you hold that trophy and you hold the gold medallions and you're declared Mr. Olympia and the ambassador of the sport of bodybuilding. There's nothing better than that.
Hello? How you feeling right now?
I feel good. Feel ready.
You're about an hour away from performing?
9 o'clock, I think.
9 o'clock? So yeah, countdown begins. 55 minutes. How was today?
I relaxed quite a bit, did some tanning, and pretty much just posed and made sure I dialed in all right.
Do you feel like you're what percentage do you feel like you're better than last year?
200.
So you're 200% better than?
Yeah.
What any I guess you've been doing this all. You're a veteran, obviously. Is there any nerves? What do you think? What's going on through your mind? And what are you thinking about?
Just trying to make sure I eat enough to stay ready to compete.
So even an hour before, 55 minutes, less than an hour to go, and you're still eating.
Pretty much. Your body's gonna stay running all the time, and I'll stay on this cold floor, keep my body cool, and then keep my body relaxed.
Right. You don't want to tighten up anything, nothing tense. So.
No.
You see, 4 months of training, right? And this is what it boils down to. What goes through your mind when I ask you that? When you look back and it's 11 o'clock at night and you're hungry, you want to eat. It's worth it, huh? Is it worth it for you?
Yeah, it's worth it. When you win, it is. Of course, I'm here to win. You're the champ,
What's it like for you when you hit the stage? Do you have some people that turn into different people. I've heard Jay-Z say he turns into Hov when he steps on stage. Everyone has that alter ego. I mean, who would be your alter ego?
Hard to really say. I mean, I get up there with a lot of confidence and try to bring some charisma and try to bring some action in a sport that just, it begs for more fan appeal. So I like to have fun up there. If you look good, you got to display it right. And
going to take advantage of the opportunity and just try to show and have a good time and make all the competitors, you know, be more competitive and, you know, show some camaraderie also with the other athletes.
Would you say you have an alter ego when you get up there?
No, I mean, you know, I definitely show more excitement than I show, you know, laying there on the field. But, you know, with me, it's about getting the job done and doing it, you know, at 100% and packing up and heading back.
What kicks in, man? What gets you going? Is it the music, the fans?
The fan, the cheers, the adrenaline when they announce my number to, you know, come out on stage from Las Vegas, Nevada. Jay Cutler, you know. It's awesome. Hometown crowd. Everyone knows the deal, you know. Everyone knows I'm coming back strong and I come with a focus, so I feel good about it.
Quiet as it's kept, are you ready to shut some people up? Inside, I know you don't say a lot outside.
I'm here to shut everybody up.
Yeah. What about this pose off deal? That was one of the hypes that I keep hearing everyone talk about. Is the pose off with Dennis Wolf? Who decides that? Because I mean, for the people that are just jumping onto the sport like myself, who decides that? Do you guys? Hey, let's match it up.
No, it's basically the judges call, you know, whatever they need to see to compare the guys.
Right.
That'll be the first call, you know, me, Dennis, and Dexter.
But they won't have, they'll make it so everyone wants to see that. Do you think that's good for the sport for you?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta give the fans are the ones buying the tickets, you know. Supporting the magazines and supporting the athletes.
Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Once again, you want to...
Hey, buddy. What's up, man?
You want to shut some people up. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had to change anything in the last 4 months, would you change anything?
No. I did everything as planned, on cue, and to the best of my ability. That's, you know, what a champion does. And we found our ways to be our best and train the way you know, that seems to be the best way to win. And I think you know, I did enough to win.
I know we talked earlier, you and I, on the personal, when you said that, you know, winning number one, it was awesome. Number two was a little harder because the drive, you know, it's always tougher that second one. This is going to be the third one. Do you feel like you got that? Did you refocus, and do you feel like you got that winning edge back?
Yeah, I feel I'm regrouped, refocused, and you know, refreshed. I'm excited.
When I first started training, I think the thing that motivated me the most was I wanted to self-achieve something. I wanted to be the best at something. I mean, we all have dreams when they were kids, and you know, some kids dream about being professional football or basketball players, and you know, others want to be doctors and lawyers. And you know, for me, I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I wanted to be the top guy in the sport that I thought was going to be my future. And you know, I picked up a magazine at 12 years old. I saw a picture of Chris Dickerson, who was Mr. Olympia at the time, and I said, that's what I want to be. I didn't actually pick up weights till I was 18 years old and pursue that goal. And you know, I had dreams and aspirations to be bigger than everyone else and win titles, but you know, the ultimate title and won the Mr. Olympia, which is, you know, only 11 guys have done in history. And that's a big, big plus for me. But also, it just shows that anything you want to do, if you have the perseverance and the commitment and the dedication and whatever it takes, you read the things about champions, what it takes to build a champion. I mean, I did that from just a normal person from a small town in, you know, central Massachusetts. I came from the bottom and worked my way to the top and made it to the big time. So that's really, you know, what my goals were. When I'm in the gym, I pretty much look at myself, and that gives me a lot of motivation. I mean, I'm bigger than everyone, the title says itself. The gym I train in has a big picture of me on the wall. And I always look up at that picture and I say, man, I've made it. It's me up there, and I'm an inspiration to all these people in the gym. I have a lot of supporters in the gym that help give me that push. You know, when I get in those heavy sets, I start yelling a little bit, you know, kind of cheering it on. And always someone that's concerned about every day, you know, what's next for Jay, how you doing, how you feeling. But I look at myself in the mirror, and it's just definitely a self-achievement to look at the physique that I've built over the years. 17 years of training has gone into my body and fighting to be the best bodybuilder in the world. And I just go in through the sets, and it's always pushing myself to certain repetitions, certain weights, and I always seem to get really what I want to get without, thank goodness, injury at this point. And I've just been focused on being the best. And when you look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're the best, that's pretty good motivation, I think.
Hey, this is Lonnie T with none other than the two-time defending Mr. Olympia, Jay Cutler. And Jay, I know that you really prepared for this, maybe harder than any Olympia you've ever had. I know we talked in the summer, and you said it's like torture, like the old days.
Yeah, I trained a full year. I trained extremely hard throughout the year, and of course started my preparation earlier than years. I started a full 4 months out to come in the best condition I possibly could, and I feel that it's coming together well to be actually competitive tomorrow night and Saturday night.
I'm trying to look at your face to see how sucked in. You're looking sucked into me, and I saw some pictures of you on the internet. I mean, there were like veins going through your abs and stuff. And even at the USA, when you joined the experts and added a little knowledge to Yogi and Isaac, you were hard as nails in. So this doesn't surprise me. You look like you were ready to go 4 to 6 weeks out from the show.
Yeah, I mean, I was dialed in pretty early, but you know how it is to fine-tune everything and be your absolute best on the day of the competition. That's only necessary for that one day. So hopefully I've held the best package for last, and prepared to win tomorrow and Saturday.
Well, I have to ask you this. I know the last couple of years you had a couple of setbacks with illnesses. How did your pre-contest training go this time? Any setbacks?
Everything went perfect. No setbacks, and we're a few hours away from showtime, so hopefully it keeps going the way it is.
Now, how does a two-time champion feel at this stage? You still have the butterflies, or did you never have the butterflies during those battles with Ronnie Coleman going back to 2000, 2001?
You always get a little nerves, and I'm more excited, I think, when I get to this part of the contest prep. And, here we are now at the banquet to meet the Olympians, and this is like when now you've arrived and you've got the fans here, and you're realizing that it's showtime. I mean, you're getting close to the final hour, and this is what I get excited for. This is like the whole weekend for me.
Well, as Dexter Jackson pointed out at the press conference, I'm an expert in knowing athletes' weights, and I'm looking at you right now. I'm going to put you at about 268 pounds come game day.
We'll see. I'm a little lighter, so we'll see.
I was going to say 265, but I thought you were going to bump it up. Everybody adds some poundage. I was going to say, okay, I'm going back. 265.
I'll be probably a shy under.
Wow. I can tell you have that quiet, calm confidence. You like what you've been seeing in the mirror.
Yeah.
You've been eating a lot of fish?
Yeah, I'm on a fish diet. It's tough. But it's almost Miller time. We'll see what happens.
Any predictions? You never like to give predictions. I do.
Well, if I'm at my best, I'll win.
I bought it last year.
And the bad news, of course, is I found the venue for the Junior Cal. And you will be back on June 20th, my featured guest poser again.
Well, I'm excited to be there, man. It's always the best fans in California and at your shows, and you've been a good friend and supporter of myself, so I'll be there come June 20th. I'll be
here. He is, Lonnie T's pick right now, the night before the prejudging.
I think my discipline comes, number one, because I'm a role model to people. That's really nowadays I'm looked upon as a champion, and I'm kind of expected to do what I do, but it still has to be self-motivating. You still want to look a certain way. You still want to have certain achievements, and I don't just go to the gym to go through the motions every day. I want to see myself changing, and I want to make the improvements and be better than I ever have. I want to see changes in my physique that people say that can't happen. I've always been against the odds. I've always been the guy that, you know, in the beginning they said I'd never be a pro bodybuilder, and then, you know, it turned into, once I turned pro, told I'd never be a good pro bodybuilder, and then, you know, I won one professional show. They said, well, you can't win the big one, and then I win the big one, and, you know, there's still always ways that people try to tear you down, but I know what physique that I want to build. I know what goals I want to accomplish. So every day when I wake up, I look around, I have achieved so much. I look at myself in the mirror, I'm very happy with the results, but I still want more. I realize my physique still isn't tapped out to the point where I feel I can become better. I can become a better champion. That's what drives me. And to have all the fans from around the world, I travel every weekend doing guest appearances. I see all my fans around the world. I get 100 emails every day from these fans, and that's what really, how can I not get out of bed and train at the fullest? I mean, this is what I want to do. There's not much else to my day but eat, sleep, and train. That's what I'm paid to do. That's what all these sponsors are paying me to do. I'm expected to go there and do the best I can and represent. And of course, you know, be the champion on the way. And that's really, being the champion is what really gets me out of bed every day. I'm the champion. That's, you know, that's huge, huge plus for me. Honestly, I'm not much of a politician, so I don't think I'll go into politics. But I could see myself in some sort of film industry or something where I'm in some sort of entertainment field, because I feel I do have the gift that helps me be social with certain people. And even though I'm a quiet, down-to-earth guy, I'm very good on cameras, and I'm very entertaining if you spend enough time with me. So it's something that I could pursue in the end. I want to be a rock and roll star, because I love to perform, I love to be on stage, and I love to have thousands of screaming girls underneath me. Yeah. Right, Harry? I want to come back as a rock star. Rock star status, baby. Right, Cooch? And she's sleeping. In-N-Out burger?
No.
You can't eat that.
I can't eat a protein burger?
Yeah.
Protein burger. Can I eat that sausage?
Yeah, but you can still eat a junk meal once a week too, you know. Right. Like Sunday.
You know what I'm saying? If I were
Yeah, protein style, yeah. I'm definitely a little more relaxed. The training obviously takes the training's definitely different, because I'm traveling a lot, I'm doing a lot of personal appearances, a lot of appearances for sponsors. So the training, it doesn't get as intense as it does pre-contest, but the training is still there. But you can't train pretty much like a train all year round. You can't just go, because eventually your body falls apart and it burns out. So whereas off season, it becomes a little more laid back, the atmosphere is a little more relaxed, and you go in the gym, you get the job done, you eat a little looser on a diet. Sometimes you have the more high-fattening foods. You don't watch your calories as much. You don't just have to sit there and drink water with every meal. There's certain things that you become real loose on, and allows your body to go into a certain adjustment and put on a little body, change its look a little bit. So when you do throw in that preparation time, that 4 months leading into the competition, you can change a lot of things that will bring your body into condition very quickly once you cut out certain things you've been doing in the off season. Of course, the intensity goes up in the training. So your mind is a lot clearer also, whereas, you know, off season, you of course you're going to be a little more relaxed. You're not training for a competition. You're not laying it on the line in 4 months. So that gives your mind a lot of mental preparation to lay off, relax a bit, and then when it's time to turn it back on, the switch goes on and you become a whole different person. I try to shelter myself in a box when I train for competition. I laugh about it because your life becomes very simplified. You eat, sleep, you train, and that's it. Whereas off season, your travel schedule, you interact, you're social, you talk a lot, the phone rings a lot more, you eat out at more restaurants, you train at different gyms, you're not stuck in the same facility all the time, you're not involved in your training camp, your support team's kind of broken off a little bit, doing their own thing. But when it all comes together and it all falls into place, that 4 months prior to the show, boom, the training there, the same gym is there, and the mind is 100% focused on what is going to happen in these next few months to bring in the best Jay Cutler they possibly can. I always knew I had the potential to be the best. There's only a couple but I always look at myself, and there's always loopholes to fill. That's part about being an overachiever, I guess, and being someone that always sets goals to be better themselves. But for me, you know, a lot of people doubted me. A lot of people, I don't really know the pinpoint of percentage really what doubted me, but there's definitely, you know, if you had to do, you know, over 50% of people probably didn't think I would make it to the level that I'm at. And over 50% didn't think that I actually win the ultimate title in bodybuilding. So I've come a long way. I've always believed I could do it. It was just a waiting out time for me. It was allowing myself to deal with a lot of down, a lot of second place finishes. I've had, you know, 5 second place finishes in my career to being, you know, second at Mr. Olympia, and I'm still fighting for it. So I've been there, I've fallen down, and I'm coming back to once again stand there alone. And there's a lot of people right now that doubt that I'm going to come back to do that. But there was a lot of people in the beginning that doubted when I was placed in second, that I'd actually win over and become the world champion, and I did that. And no one believed it until that final announcement right at the time. And I didn't believe it for a long time. I used to wake up in the night and say to Kerry, I'm Mr. Olympia, I can't believe it. And now I realize that it's destiny for me to be a champion and probably retire as a champion with a title. So here we are, rolling into the next year. Gonna fight to be the best again. I'm really excited. A lot of things I have on the plate that are gonna change. Nutrition's changed, and I'm probably a whole different person coming into 2009 season than I've ever been. My mental focus is definitely better. I realize what I'm gonna do to be better. I know what I need to do to be better. And once we get there, it's going to be a whole nother game plan. My definition of success is, number one, reaching your own needs for what you want to do. We all set specific goals. I tried to set realistic goals in the beginning, and for me, you know, the popular nature where I wanted to be known. But I think pretty much success nowadays is just being a role model for people. I mean, and having people look at your life and aspire to what you do. I think when I first started bodybuilding is I just wanted to be self-motivated and I wanted self-achievement. But what I realized that came along with that was people actually looked upon me as a role model and someone that they actually looked upon and maybe aspired to follow the same kind of routine or same kind of, you know, program that got them into the situation I'm in. And that's what I think is success. I mean, when you reach that point that people look at you and see that you've achieved a certain thing and say, wow, that's where I want to be, then you've reached success or reached a big time. And I feel that I've achieved pretty much everything that I ever dreamed about being, and I'm still achieving. That's the most important thing, and I'm still giving people a reason to aspire for certain dreams, and I'm proof that any dreams can come true through hard work and determination and commitment and perseverance. Jay Cutler's dream and aspiration as of now is to be another world champion in bodybuilding. So I dream every day. I dream every day of stage and being there with the gold medal and giving my victory speech, and I look through all the years of training, and a lot of flashes go through my mind every day because I've been on stage winning the ultimate title. I've been at the bottom. I've been in the middle. I've won every championship there is, and there's nothing like winning the best of the best achievement and being the champion at what you do and being the best in the world at what you do. It's what other motivation can you have to be at the pinnacle of your career and not only win once, twice, but 3 times? I mean, that's just, you know, icing on the cake at that point. And you know, right now, my aspirations, my dream is to be another world champion. I want to be Mr. Olympia. That's what I want to do. I want to train all year, give all I can, all the dedication, all the time, all the ups and downs that make it all worth it in the end when you sit there and you hold that trophy and you hold the gold medallions and you're declared Mr. Olympia and the ambassador to the sport of bodybuilding. There's nothing.
Seven kids with just me there, it became pretty hairy sometimes. You know, I had a full-time job, and I'd come home and we'd put on a meal for everybody. And usually the 3 boys would have, the older ones, would have their friends in. So sometimes we'd have 10 or 15 people at the supper table. So it was pretty hectic. Everybody had to help. Oh, of course. I mean, he should be about 175, so be 300. What? Of course, I'm amazed. You know, and looking at my size.